Okay, so let's start with the today's session. Today we'll be discussing around the Linux as your main course itself is around AWS. The maximum part you'll be using the Linux because most of the when you work around the AWS or any of the cloud programming you do, you have to be careful with the terminal because there is no GUI here. Like in Windows, you or Windows or Linux or anything you currently work around your PC, that is GUI thing. You have a complete graphics interface for that, right? But when you work with the DevOps part in the cloud, maximum of 90%, 95 of the operations are done by the terminal. So you will have to be very careful about this. You will have to remember all those commands, how to utilize that. So we'll be discussing about this today itself. Okay. So can anyone explain what is an operating system? That's a very basic thing to start with. If anyone can answer in the chat, what is an operating system? How do you understand that? Guess no one is interested to participate in the chat. Okay, no worries. I'll be proceeding with this only. Okay, so basically, our operating system is nothing just a software that manages your hardwares and allows user to interact with the computer. That's the basic part of the operating system, right? Let me also share my screen so that I can visually tell you around this. Just a moment. I'll have to rejoin because of the permission. Just give me a moment. I hope I'm audible now. Just confirm. I'm audible, Nitin. I'll just repeat. Okay. So basically, operating system is nothing just an kind of software which manages all your hardwares. That's the most of the part of the operating system. Okay, there are different kind of operating systems available in the market. The most common names you would be hearing is Linux and Ubuntu when you're dealing with the cloud programming, the DevOps. These are the most popular ones. And if you are like a student or a professional, the most of the time you would be hearing is Mac OS and Windows. Every operating system has their own set of use cases, how you want to handle them. If like if you're moreover interested in gaming, then you would be likely going with the Windows. If you're moreover working with the professional, then most of them go with the Mac OS. If most of them are like doing coding or DevOps, they mostly prefer with the Mac OS or Linux. So everyone has a use case, and that's how operating system gets decided based on your use case. Okay. So there are several operating systems we discussed, like these are the Linux, Ubuntu, macOS, and Windows. Now, why we are learning Linux? Why Linux? Why the most of the system are dependent on the Linux or Ubuntu? Okay, so currently, if you see the dominance of the Linux in the today scenario, Linux powers most of the internet servers. If you see like Google servers or even Amazon AWS or Azure or even your mobile phones, the 95% of the devices are powered by Linux. So that's the majority part of the Linux, how they are controlling all over the devices all over the world. If I give you a fair comparison between like Linux and Windows, like how good at scale Linux is currently. First of all, the Linux is like free. How many of you know about the open source? Anyone? Do you know what is open source? One, do you have any idea around what is called open source in terms of like coding? If you have heard before, yes. So Linux is free. That is called open source. That is the code is publicly available on the internet. Anyone can contribute. Anyone can fork that and have their own extension of the code. So that's how open source code works. You provide, if you have you're building something, you're providing it for free to everyone, so that everyone can have their own use case. They can modify, they can do their own way. Like if you see the best example of this is like Android. If you see all over the Android phones, they are powered by Android. But if you see the boot animation, like for Samsung, it's Samsung powered by Android. If it's nothing phone, then it's nothing powered by Android. So the UI itself is of the OS itself is an Android, but all these companies are like building their own version of it from the Android system, whatever they're getting, right? So they can modify the source code of that and they can build their own. That's how open source work. So Linux is free of everything, while Windows is paid because it is developed by Microsoft and they are making it very closely. So they do not open source the code. They manage their own enterprise level things, everything. It is not under the free control. Same with Mac OS as well. Mac OS also is not freely available. The only thing is Linux and Ubuntu that are freely available. It's open source and while it is closed source. Even if we see like Linux is moreover the secure. If you would be seeing overall the statistics about this Linux or Ubuntu everything, Linux is well tested with the malware and everything, and it has been found that it is very hard to crack down with the Linux compared to the Windows or any other. If you see, like 5 to 7 years back, if you would see in the past, there were a lot of antivirus systems we would get in the market. We had to install that antivirus into our PC to keep our Windows safe from the malware, right? But you would hardly see anyone thinking about this with the Mac OS or Linux systems, because that are very hard to crack down itself at the first place, that they do not even think of it most of the time occurs. So we can see somehow that is secure and easy to install malware, we can say, or like we can say malware can be installed in Windows. Eventually, in Linux also it can be done, but it is more tough. It's not that easy. Also, Linux is your more of the CLI. We can say it is more focused on the CLI. What is CLI? It is command line interface that most of the things are controlled by terminal. So if you see, you have a terminal and you can access everything like all those commands and everything is at the terminal itself. So that's how Linux is most of the operated with the CLI, while your Windows is the GUI friendly. Most of the things are from the GUI part, and it's mostly worldwide used in servers, while it is in the personal systems. Most rarely, you would be seeing that Windows is used as a server. The majority part of the Windows is used as a personal system. Okay, so this is what a fair comparison looks like with the Linux and Windows. Okay, so how many of you have ever used command prompt for any of the tasks ever before? Or any of the OS? Have you ever used this terminal? Anyone? Anyone? Have you ever used command prompt in Windows or terminal in macOS or Linux? Have you done any task in that? Just want to know if you have a basic knowledge of that. That would give a quick start with that. Anyone? Okay. So now let's move with the CLI or terminal, what we can say. Okay. Now let's understand what a terminal looks like and how does it even work. Okay. So based on your system, either it's Mac OS or Windows, in Windows you generally get a command prompt. If you're into Windows 11, you would get terminal. Same in Mac OS or Linux, you get a terminal here. Okay, so that's how mostly it works. Let me just zoom it a bit so that it's clear to you. I hope now it will be visible. Okay, so basically, in terminal, what it works, the terminal is nothing just a text-based interface. Now, what you're currently seeing, like this folder structures or everything, right? These are mostly the GUI part. It's mostly visible in your folder directory. It's displayed as a UI part. But in terminal, everything is in text format. So if I just move like this, cd back and do ls, now you see we have several things here. Like if I can move to like cd volumes, and now I can do ls, and it will show me all these volumes available in my PC, and I can find all those volumes here itself. In locations, you can see we have a coding volume and Macintosh is in inbuilt one. So this is how it works. In terminal, it's a text-based editor. It is text-based interface where we can see everything in text-based, while your applications you see that is in GUI-based. Okay, so to work with this terminal, I already showed you how it works usually. There are several commands we'll be currently discussing around this. One of the examples I just gave you is ls. Ls is means to list all those in the directory. Whatever the files are there in the directory, it will list all those with the ls command. Cd is basically changing the directory with the path, whatever path I am providing. Double dot slash means at a parent directory. So that way we can move forward and backward between the paths. Okay. Now, once you are there in this terminal, you can just clear it. Okay. So, how do you know what user currently you are logged in as? So there is some kind of command, who am I, which shows the logged in username. So I am logged in as an Yashraj username in this PC, and that's why it's showing Yashraj. This is one of the command, PC command you can check, which means like who am I logged in as. You can also test this in your system. I don't know if this command shall work in Windows or not, but in Linux and macOS, this command works. Okay, so these are the one of the commands which generally tells what user you are logged in as. Now, you can try some of the things to check with the terminal, basic things. Like one of those command is like who am I. The other one you can check with the host name. That what is the host name of your PC. So if you see this is my host name, then the other thing you can check is like date. Once you type like date, you can see the real time. What is the date currently? If you see it is 6:53, and it just matches with this, right? So these are the some of the few commands you can just test with your new terminal. I'll just give you a 1 minute to have and work around with this. Try this commands in your PC as well. I'm just typing here. Just try these commands. And what's the output? Just paste it in chat. Sorry. Try these three commands in your terminal and paste the output in the chat. Abhi. And just try these three commands in your terminal and paste the output in the chat. And try to be interactive in the class so that, of course, you would be able to better understand the session, the lecture. I guess no one is interested, so we can move forward. Okay. So now we'll be discussing around the Linux file system. How does it work? So I just explained about the volumes, right? In Windows, I guess most of you are being using the Windows only. So you know about this drive, right? There's an assignment letter which start with C drive, D drive, E, like that, right? Same way in Linux, we have everything in a root directory. So how does in Linux it works? For Linux directory and Windows. In Linux, we have like home, we have etc, we have variables, we have user, and some of the temp as well. So we have this several directories. I'll explain in the later phases what does this even mean. And in Windows, if you know, you would be aware about the C drive, then we have D drive. As much of the volumes you add in the PC, the letter gets added accordingly, right? C, D, E, F, same way. Multiple drives. Here we have this. In Linux, what is the directory for the home? What is the home directory? If you see, usually the place where we store all the users files are inside the home. So if I am a user, then mostly the files would be stored like in slash home slash yes, right? May contains like documents. It may contains like documents or data, any of the data basically, like downloads or pictures. So these are mostly available in this home directory inside the user folder, user as a logged in user. Okay, now with the etc slash etc, what it has, sorry. So slash etc is for the system configuration. System configurations. What it can do, like slash etc, maybe like it can have some password or something which can contains users information, some sensitive information it can have. Okay, with slash where it usually stores like maybe logs or like application data. It just store. Usually it's like slash where slash log. For the slash temp, of course, by the name itself, it stores temporary files, and usually it deletes automatically after a certain time, depending upon the configurations you do. But temp usually deletes automatically. Okay, so this is the main thing about the directories in the Linux. Sorry. So we have like most important parts are like slash home, slash etc, slash where, user, temp. We have all those use case. What is it is used for, right? Now, to provide in the basic language, if you can say, so you can also consider this Linux within house, and you can consider directories as in rooms, like we have bedroom, kitchen, right? Same way. So in a house, you have different rooms, and each have their own use case. Same way in Linux or Windows, each have their own use case, where temp or etc or even home, right? So everything has their own use case. Now, now let's move with the navigations command. Till now, whatever I have told, is it clear? Please tell yes or no. Up to now, is it clear or not? Okay. So now let's move with the navigations command. Okay. Now let me open the terminal. Okay. So basically, if you need to show current location, where you are exactly, so you can type like pwd and it shows you the current path where you at, right? So pwd means print working directory. It's not a password, but pw does it means print working directory. I'll just also write the full form so that you don't get confused with this. Okay. So if like the example would be like if you print pwd, you may get like a home slash yes or maybe some other path where are you currently there. Okay. So it means like you're currently inside the home directory or whatever directory you're currently present. Now we have some of the commands like ls. I've already explained about. Sorry. ls is just to list all the files. Like if you see, we have these two volumes here and the volume directory, and when I type ls, we have the two volumes. So ls means list files, and its output may look like your documents or downloads or etc. And one more, we have an we have some more commands, extensions, or xcargs or arguments written it. So if we add an argument with this slash l, it just shows you a detailed information about this, right? So let me just copy this and I'll explain what does it mean. Okay, so to explain this, what it means is, let me just rewrite this thing. Okay, let me just rewrite. So ls with an argument of slash l, it can give you output slash documents or notes or txt, whatever it means, right? So if you see this drwr, this thing, what does it mean is d for directory, d for directory, r is equal to read permissions, w with write, and x for execute. Execute, right? So this is the oh, what we tell with the arguments. It get list ls plus l. If you type, you would get a more information about this, what are the permissions level and how you can do that. Okay. So we have like directory, read, write, and execute permissions over this directory. Now we have this another argument as well, ls dash a, which shows you all the path, how much we can move forward with this. If you see, we are currently at this, and we can move with this again, one more parent path. So most of the time, if you are in a current code directory or something, this can give you something like this. ls a, it can give you something slash, means you can go with the parent path, current path, or maybe like file name, nodes.txt, something like this, right? It can give you something like this. Also, there are some kind of hidden files with this. Sometimes you may find hidden files. What are the type of hidden files? Like system files, we can say. System settings, you can find sometimes like dot git, you can find, or even dot bash, c, you can find. So these are the kind of files you know get when you list the files. Okay. Or if you work with a coding project, you would be also finding the .env as well. Okay. Now we have the cd command. Cd is just change directory command, right? Moving into folder. If I'm in current, I'm in volumes, I want to move to coding volume. So I can just write cd and coding. and I will be able to move with the coding. Now, if I can just do ls, and now you see we have a different directories in this coding volume, right? Okay. To check location, we have already told you about the print position directory. So currently, if you see, I'm in the slash volume slash coding. To go back to in the parent directory, we have cd double dot, and you can move back to your parent directory, right? How many of you are aware of this basics command, at least what I've just explained you so far? Till now, whatever I just told you, how many of you are aware of this? Have you ever used these terminal commands, these basic things? If there is any confusion you would like to get cleared, on, yes, everything is clear only. Okay, no issues. So we have some of those more commands. If we just add in a forward slash, it would itself go to the root directory directly. If you see, we are there in CD volumes, and once we added this forward slash, we are currently in the root level of the PC. Okay, so you can try some of those commands I'm providing in the chat. Try these commands in your terminal and try to be attentive and interactive as well. Yes, this command, you can do just these two commands and let me know what it just gives you the output. We'll wait for 2 minutes. Try this running a few commands and let me know if it works or not, and what's the output you are getting within the terminal. Okay, I guess we can move forward. Okay, so I'm in currently the root. Let me just move back to volumes. Recording. Okay. Now, there are more of the commands like to create a directory, we can run create a directory, we can run mkdir, which means make a directory or create a directory. So we can write like mkdir AWS class. And if I can do ls, and you see, we have a new folder. So I can move into that folder, AWS class, and now it's currently empty, right? So we created a directory, we switched to that directory and also try to have this Linux. Sorry. Okay. We can also create multiple directories at once uh, with the same command. maybe like let's create like docs or guides maybe or src, and then we can do ls, and you see at once we can create multiple folders as well, multiple directories, right? So we can also create a new file within the terminal itself. So there is a command called touch, and let's create maybe notes.txt. And then when you do ls, now we have an txt file as well. There are text-based editor within the terminal itself. When you would be working with the terminal, so there are few terminal-based editor as well. Based editor, which are like nano editor. So you would be working around with this if you want to edit, or change code within the terminal. You can use this nano editor, and you would be able to edit text or anything within the terminal itself. Okay. So we can have mkdir, src, or docs to create multiple directories, multiple folders at once. Okay. Uh, One more thing, you would be having a question: why we use touch, and what's the use case? Of course, you know the use case to create a new file. Like we did touch notes.txt, right? So what's the use case? So the use case is originally used to update file types. So originally, it was used to create or update the file types, but now it's commonly used to create like empty files. But now we generally use to create empty files. You can do some of those commands. I can provide you in the chat and try these commands. Maybe like mkdir practice, cd practice, mkdir document. Try running these commands once. Try running these commands. Also, we'll take a 5-minute break. I'll drink some warm water. Okay, we are back. Let's move with the topic then. Okay, so we've already seen what are the commands with this, right? All the ls, cd, mkdir, touch, everything, right? Now we'll be moving with the viewing of the file content. We did navigation. Now we'll be doing the viewing file content. So there are commands like echo, which helps you to the write data. So I'm already in the AWS class, right? Okay. So I can write like echo and like hello Linux, and then in notes.txt. And now if I could, sorry, oh, sorry. Now if I can open this. Okay, sorry. Uh, so what we are using currently, echo, which has to write the data we did echo and added the content, file content, what we need to add, and then provide the file name. Okay, and then it already added the file content. So to view the file content, we can do cat notes.txt, sorry, cat notes.txt, and you see what we have entered hello Linux is now available in the file content. So echo helps you to write data in a file. Cat allows you to read the data, read and display the file data, right? I'll just do it again. Echo hello AWS in file.txt, and if you do cat file.txt, if you see, we added a new file name called file.txt with the file content hello AWS, and when we used cat file.txt, the data inside the file is being displayed here. Okay, let me share the screen. I hope now screen is visible. Is my screen visible now? Okay, fine. Okay, so I'll just re-explain this. So what we did is earlier we did navigating with the directories. Now what we are doing is viewing the file contents. So there are a few commands which we are looking currently. There is a command called echo, which helps you to the write data in a file. Cat is a command which helps you to read and display the file data. Okay, so let me just do it again for you. If I write echo and under quotation, you can add the file content. So we are writing hello AWS session 2. Okay, in file new.txt. So a new file shall be created in this directory, which is file new.txt. You see, it has been created. And now if I want to see the file content, what actual text content in the file new.txt, I can type cat file new.txt, and you see what we had typed hello AWS session 2 is now written in the file hello AWS session 2, right? So this is the two commands, the basic commands, which can help you write the data in the file, and other can help you to read the data and display in the terminal. Okay. Now, how you can append the data? Suppose that we have this hello AWS 2. Now I want to add some more lines to this file. Now what I can do is we can write click echo second line in the file and add double arrow with the file new.txt and try now. Now you can see a second line has been appended to the file, right? So this is how we can add the second line, or we can append new content inside a file. So echo content with single line, single arrow helps you to add the data file.txt, and echo content 2 with double line helps you to append the data, which shall now written like content and content 2. It shall appear like this. Okay, So now it adds a new content instead of the replacing the previous content. If you would still use a single arrow, it will just replace the enter file content. But if you use like a double arrow, it means it will append the content. Okay. Now, now there are like commands like copy or move. So for copy, there is CP, and we can do like copy maybe notes.txt, and we want to move to other directory. So then we can pass the directory like this and fill in the backup. Right now we can have this command and it can copy to the parent directory. Right. Same with we have like move. We can do this is for the copy. For the move, same commands is there like move like notes.txt, and you can tell like in the documents if you want or whatever directory you can provide. So initially is the command. TP means copy, move means move, and you tell the file which file you want to work with, and the destination. The file, this command, this is file path, and this is the directory where you want to have at work around. Okay, you can also like move file with renaming the file as well if you want. We have a specific command for that, I guess. If I'm not sure, but I guess we can have something like backup.txt and we can rename that backup old.txt. I guess we can use this to rename. I'm not sure this works. I haven't tried in this timeline, but you can have a check with this because MV does also rename and also does move. It works for both move and rename as well. Then we have RM command. RM is to like delete a file. So maybe we can delete some file like rmfile.txt, and now if you see the file.txt has been deleted, right? And if you want to delete an entire directory, so we can do like rm with argument slash dash r, and maybe I want to delete the src folder. So now even the directory shall be removed, right? rm file.txt, it removes the single file. If you use slash r, it means recursive. So it will delete all the files inside that directory accordingly. And in the directory we pass, that is src. So all the files inside the src folder has been now deleted. And now only these three files are there. Also, we have one more argument, that is rm slash rf. I would not suggest you to try this anytime in any scenario, because what it means recursive and force. So rm is to delete file, rm slash r is to delete uh, directory, and rm slash rf is to forcefully delete. Recursive plus force delete. So maybe like if there is any permission denied, or maybe is there any sensitive information or anything, it will just skip all those dangerous permissions and it will delete everything with a slash rf. So never run your commands when you don't understand that in the Linux. Okay. Now, if you, how many of you already have used this find? Of course, you would have used this to search your files in your PC, right? So how do you find the files inside the terminal? So we have this find thing. So we can write like file, then directory where we want to search, and with name or extension we can provide with the .txt extensions. So, it may like search all those files with the txt extension or something file name, right? So there are like search commands. What do you say? I'll just share you a list of these commands. You can give it a try on your own after this session as well, so you can have a better understanding on this. Okay. So for search, to find files, we can do like find with the path and with the name you can provide. So maybe like asterisk, which do will do all the regex part and slash txt. So this will search all your current directory for all the text files. We have this now grep command, which is means search inside file. So these are the mostly commands you would be dealing when you will be doing the coding part or programming. You will be writing some codes. Then you would be using these commands, right? So maybe when you create a file with Linux and notes.txt, you can search with like grep and Linux notes.txt, and it will give you the output at which line it is, at which position it is there, right? So it may give you output if I just give you Linux 6 simple. And if you also this is not case sensitive, so you'll have to write accordingly, and it may give you the output with Linux is simple. It will find by the word in the file, and it will show you the output with that. Hmm. Now, what are the real examples of doing this? Grep, the real example we usually do is to find errors. Whatever else, we can just do check a grep error in app.log. When you work with the production code in the servers, so you store logs, what kind of errors of what we are facing. So you have hundreds of errors, then how do you find that? So you can use this command grep error app.log, and it will show you all those uh, error lines, right? So these are the kind of use cases you can do with commands. Okay. Now there are some kind of the permissions. These are the kind of most important topic for you. So be careful regarding this. Some of the I guess we had seen about the argument. I already had explained about this, right? The RW read write or permissions executable, everything, right? What are the permissions available with this? So, if to explain one of those is slash maybe like RWXR and XR, you would see some of those, or maybe even you can see dividing into the groups. So maybe like slash, sorry, I'm spelling slash, it's a dash. You would be saying something like this. So RW is like ownership, which means read, write, and execute. This is kind of an honor, right? RWX is means read, write, and execute. Then you have a group with R and X. It means read and execute. Then we have double slash, which means only read only. So these are kind of the permissions. You can see what are the permissions we have. We have a read, write, read, and read only. We have all kind of permissions with these files, and there are the different permissions here in the directory, because it is in directory. So directory level permissions are different. File level permissions are different. Okay. So this is the permissions. You can like decide what kind of permissions you have. For RWX means read, write, and execute. R and X group means read and execute. R means read only. Okay. And when you will be working with the AWS, mostly you would be will be dealing with the SSH to log into your server and everything. So there you would be working with the file permissions, like an access key kind of, right? File key. So to provide permissions to a file in macOS, we generally use like chmod in Linux as well. While in Windows, we have a different setup. I'll try to get a recording of that, some kind of tutorials available in the internet. I'll just share about that, how you can change the permission of a file. Accordingly, you can do that. In Mac and Linux, there is a command for this chmod, which is an easy to work with. So like we can do like chmod to a file. Maybe there are some example is 755 and script.sh. Okay, so it means like 7 is for RWX. For 5 it means RX, and 5 is RX. So this is the group of permissions of what we do, right? So change chmod is to change the or modifying the permissions, and for this command codes. So there are like chmod 700, 400, 500. So there are certain permissions name. So am I audible now? Please confirm everyone. Am I audible? Okay, fine. Okay, so we saw chmod, which helps you to the change permission or to modify the permissions of a file. Okay, the real world example you can already see is we mostly do like chmod, like 755 script.sh. I already told you about. Then we can also have plus x deploy.sh. I know you are not currently about the .sh file or something. I'll be explaining in the later stages. This is just an example for you. that how does it even works. So we usually do like change permissions and then provide the permission, what kind of the permissions what we need, and then set the permissions accordingly. So these are the kind of code we write to change or modify the permissions. Okay, I guess we are almost done. What we have covered already is navigation, viewing, and even mm, listing. I guess yes. All the basic commands we have already done, navigation, viewing, and permissions. All these three things we have already covered. So I guess the only part left out is to try out some of the commands which I had shared you, or I'll be sharing again in the group. Try all those commands and see how does it work or not. Okay, the this last 15 minutes, 20 minutes, I'll be explaining how do you even set up the AWS, because from the next session we'll be seeing the AWS. We are already we already know about the basic part of the Linux, so we can move forward with the AWS. So first of all, let me just give an overview around the AWS. What is AWS? Like all you have opted for AWS, how many actually you know the AWS, the working? What is it and what's the use case of AWS? How many of you know? You already have opted for the AWS session. So do you know what is AWS? Anyone? I guess you are in the right class, right? You would be knowing about the AWS if you have took this session. Anyone? Okay, no problem. Okay, so there are certain local and remote development. What do we say? Okay, so you are currently using your PC. Okay, let's suppose you developed an application or software or a website. Let's take an example of your website. Okay, you develop a website. How do you show that website to everyone around the world? You cannot keep your PC available on the internet every time, right? Or let's suppose even you are able to keep your PC 24 by 7 on. How do you even showcase that website? Because you are not connected with everyone. So if you see, like you developed an website in like local machine in your PC, it would be something around like local or 3000 something, right? So maybe like your website is running on local 3000. How do you even show that to the uh, public worldwide? So there is some kind of option you would be having to provide the tunnel. So like there are some kind of tools like ngrock or cloudflare. So this helps you to get a public URL so that you can share this URL with your friends or families so that they can see your website, right? But still, you'll have to keep your PC 24 by 7 so that everyone can view your website, right? So, in that case, what you can do is you rent a server from a cloud provider, right? And which runs 24
by 7, and then you can deploy that website in the server, and as server is already available to internet publicly, that URL shall be visible. So you may get URLs like 192 or something private IP with the AWS or any of the cloud provider. You may get this kind of IP, and then you can share this URL. But still, when you share this URL, it's not easy to remember this kind of IP address. So then comes another way. You add in website name. Maybe like you purchase a domain. Maybe like you can write like me or something, some kind of domain you purchased, and then you can have a DNS record with this value, and then instead of typing this IP address, you can call this me, and you would be able to view that website without keeping your laptop 24 by 7 on. Instead, now you are keeping your server 24 by 7 on, right? And for that, of course, as you have your own PC, you can use as much as you want. You are not have to pay for that. But when you rent a server from these cloud providers, you pay hectic amount of money with that. So when you will be learning AWS, try to make sure, try to very much make sure, do not use paid products. As an example, there are services called S3. It gives you 5 GB of usage free. EC2, it gives you T2 micro instance free. But if you go beyond this, maybe like T3 large or something, it may cost, it may end up costing you around $80 per month. So be very, very careful whenever you use AWS or any of the cloud platform, because each step can cost you hundreds of rupees, even thousands of rupees. So please be attentive in the class. Whatever I say, listen to that very carefully, and then only use that services. Okay. So the process to sign up on the AWS, you can visit AWS and everyone set up an account with this. It will take around 10 to 15 minutes. You can click on create account. It may require PAN card or some kind of digital identity, and you can have those all those sign up. And I guess now this do support UPI auto pay. So if there is an UPI option while signing up, try to use UPI, else a card will be required. I guess the other mentor had already shared you a YouTube link of that uh, of a signing account, right? If I'm sure. If not, I will be sharing you another video of how to set up an account. So whenever you are with the AWS or any of the cloud provider, explicitly I am telling this, do not use purchase random services inside that. AWS has around 1,000 plus services already. So whatever you have to learn, first check if it is free or not. If it is free, how you can utilize that, and if is it need, then only use that. Because if an example, if I just told you about the EC2, with EC2 you have this T2 micro and I guess T3 small. These are the free for 12 months, 730 hours each monthly. So it gives you this monthly credits, so that you can utilize 730 hours is already max. I guess it's only 24 into 31. I guess it's 740. So the bill is very less in that case, even it is in the 31st month. If the month is 30th, then there is no bill. Eventually, I guess for the 31st month is also there is a negligible billing for that. So you can use these two instances for that. For S3, you can use up to 5 GB of the storage. There are other services as well. Have to look to the syllabus. What are the services you will be covering, and based on that, we'll be seeing in the next session. I guess for this session, this is it. You can get the account set up by the next session, so that we can discuss with the AWS services in the next class. If there is any doubt, you can ask. We still have 5 to 7 minutes left. I'm there. If anyone has any doubts or queries, you can ask. If you have any queries, you can just ask. Yes, there's no any queries or doubts. So before the next session, try to have your AWS account set up. If there is any problem in between, you can just ask me in the WhatsApp group itself, and I will help you out with that. Okay, that's it for that session. There is no doubts, I guess, then we can stop the recording. Or is there any queries? Okay, there's no queries, then that's it for this session. We'll see you in the next class. Thank you, everyone.